welcome to another Explore Owens Week session. We're very excited to have you here with us. Today we are featuring our OFAME program. It is primarily housed on our Findlay campus. We have Miss Julie Baker on the call today. She is the Dean of our Findlay campus as well as the Success Coach for the FAME program, and Tracy Campbell is on our call today. He's the current chair of the Applied Engineering and Industrial Technologies program. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves a little bit and tell you about their program. Take it away, you guys. Julie?
Hello, this is Julie Baker, and I am the Dean of the Findlay campus, and I also serve as the Success Coach for this Ohio FAME program. You'll learn a little bit later on in the presentation what a Success Coach does, but the current cohort affectionately refers to me as Mama Bear. So I sort of oversee the students in the program and their progress, and kind of help them with finding resources, whatever those may be, whether they're academically related or personally related. And you'll hear from me a little bit later on in the presentation. Tracy?
Thank you, Julie. My name is Tracy Campbell, and I am the chair of the Applied Engineering and Industrial Technologies at Owens Community College, and I am also the FAME instructor for the Findlay campus and the FAME program. And the FAME program it's a national program. It's the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education, and our significant name is OFAME for Ohio FAME. And what that is there's several states that have this program, and OFAME, we are the first in Ohio to have this program. And the program is based on a 2 weeks at the college in classes and 3 days at the facility, the manufacturing facility, actually working in the industry. And the whole aspect behind this program is that while you're in school, you take specific classes, and those specific classes will also be related to your work. So while you're in school, for example, you taking a welding class. Then when you go to the work for those other 3 days, you will be doing welding at your facility to help engage and build your knowledge in those specific areas of education. So we'll move into the program a little bit, and it'll explain a little bit more of kind of what we're doing. So with this, I mentioned the 3 days at the facility working. You're guaranteed 24 hours a week at the facility working, and that is a paid internship at this point. There are no nights or weekends. And the reason for that is we want you to focus on your education. It's very important that you're taking the skills that you're learning at the college and putting those to work at the facility. And if you're working nights and weekends and things like that, it does not leave the time required to be able to concentrate on the education side of your career. At this point, it's a minimum of $12 an hour, which equates to $288 a week, but many facilities are paying more than that at this point. So that's just a minimum of what the facilities are paying. And with this, the job and the businesses find you. You're required to have that internship before you start the program. So with what happens is the application process and things like that, and the facilities or the mentors at the facilities actually work with you. They do interviews, and then you're chosen to be their intern, or what we call an AMT, Advanced Manufacturing Technician. And that's the student side of going to to work at the business. Before those interviews, you're going to be coached, and that's where Julie mentioned as the Success Coach. That's where she'll come into play and help guide you through the interview process. Make sure you put your best foot forward. You'll be working with mentors once you're at the facilities. That's your go-to person. Now, the way that works is you'll have a mentor, but you may be training under another person. So with a mentor, that's your go-to person if you have any issues, any questions, and they'll also assign you to where you'll be working at any specific time. As I mentioned earlier, your mentor may not be a welder, but there's someone else at the facility that is the welder for a specific area. So you'll go work with them while you're in a welding class. And many of the other classes the same way, whether it happens to be electronics, hydraulics, anything. That's the whole idea behind this process of what you're learning at the school, you practice it, and then you do it. And that's the way this works is you learn theory, you practice that at the college. So if any mistakes, anything like that happens at the college, and then you go do that at the facility. And it just reinforces your knowledge that way. And with this program, at the end of each semester, you'll be given a presentation. So you'll tell about it, which also reinforces your knowledge and it helps retain that for you. Our class size is limited to 12. So it's very, very much a ratio, very good for the learning process. And you'll be in the cohort group, as Julie mentioned. And so you'll be with this group for every single class. Depending on the days that you're at school, you will be with that group in every class that you're with. So you'll gain some, as it says here, some like-minded friends, and you'll also be able to help each other that way. You'll build the relationship to where if somebody's struggling in one area, other students are there to help with that. And we also have a lot of support from the college in areas that Julie will talk about here in a little bit. The other nice thing about this program is at least half of your tuition is paid by your sponsoring company. So in this instance, we're saying $10,500 will be paid by the company. Some companies are paying more. That's just the relationship that you have when you're interviewed and you go to work for that company. That's what you work out with them. You'll be finished in 18 months. And as it states here, most of your education doesn't happen in the class. With what we're trying to do, we're training technicians, and that's a hands-on career that you're looking at. And with that, you need to learn that not just in the classroom. So you will be in a lab situation. Most of our classes are a 4-hour class, which equates to 1 hour of lecture where you learn the theory, you're understanding what's happening, then you're actually going to the labs and doing it. And that builds that ability to be able to then take the exercises that you're doing in the labs and take that right to the facilities and be able to do that as your career progresses. A little bit about the courses that you'll be taking. This course is based on 5 semesters. So you start in the fall, typically late August, and will go the months from there. And you will be going to school during the summer between your freshman and sophomore year. But the courses that you'll be taking your first semester, a math class, machining, DC analysis, a drafting, and then a welding class. And again, all those classes, other than the math class, have a lab component to them. So you're very much going to be in a lab. For example, the CAM 160, 1 hour of lecture, 3 hours of lab. The fundamentals of DC analysis, 2 hour of lectures, 3 hours of lab, and so on. So you can kind of see that you're not just sitting in front of an instructor for 4 hours or for 5 hours or whatever it happens to be. You're actually getting up, moving, and working with the equipment. And we just have the following semesters here. We get into some CNC. You are required to have an English composition class because this is an associate degree program. So you will be getting an associate's degree once completed, and the English, the computing, and some of the other classes are the required courses to be able to get your associate's degree. Other classes, then we get into PLC, so we get into electronics courses. You do take a safety, OSHA safety, and you will receive a OSHA 30 card once you complete that. AC principles, and they also take a psychology class. Then we get more into in-depth as far as automation goes, more with the PLCs, motor controls, and a lot of what our students do as AMTs is electrical work. So you'll take courses with the National Electric Code, electrical prints, so you can read the electrical blueprints and things like that. And you'll also take a second welding course. And you'll also get an Owens certificate in welding from your welding courses that you get through this program. And then one of our last semester is we have fluid power, again, automation controls, and that's a robotics class. And you'll also receive FANUC certification once you complete the robotics course through that. So that's just a sample of the courses that you take throughout the 5 semesters. And Julie, I'll let you take it from here.
All right. So now let's talk a little bit about you. Tracy's talked about the businesses and that are involved, and he's talked about the school, a little bit about the curriculum in the school, but let's talk about you. So in this program, one of the wonderful things about it is that it makes you very marketable. It will make you stand out from the crowd. And the benefits that you receive, as Tracy mentioned, you get an associate's degree, and at least $10,500 of that is paid. Again, to reiterate what Tracy said, some of the companies are paying a little more than that. But at the very minimum, that's the amount of the tuition and fees that they are going to pay. You get 1,800 hours plus of real experience. Many of the companies, when you sign a contract with them, they will ask you to start the summer before classes start. And the intent of that is to get you into the company, get you some experience so you can see from the ground floor up what this company makes, what the product is, so that when you get into these technical classes and you become the advanced manufacturing technician for them, which is what this program is, AMT, you're going to have a really good idea of how the process works in that facility. Again, as Tracy talked about, you're going to make a network of friends. That's the best word, friends. They are going to be peers. You're going to you're going to lean on each other. How great is it to be able to go out into a company, say you've got a problem with a machine 5 years down the road, and you remember that Joe in your FAME class, he was really good on that particular type of machine. You give him a call because you have that relationship already built with him, and you can troubleshoot that way. And then also, you can earn while you learn. If you took what you earn from these companies, you could, in essence, graduate debt-free. Now, that's not saying you don't have to take any grants and loans and scholarships, any of those sorts of things. Of course, if it's free money, take it. I always say that. But as far as loans are concerned, you will make enough money while you're working in this program to actually pay your part of the tuition and fees as you go through it. So summarizing again, in that 18 months, you're going to have experience, over 1,800 hours. You're going to have a degree. You're going to have connections that we talked about. You're going to get paid when you come out. So the earning potential of an advanced manufacturing technician coming out of this program is about $60,000 a year. We can't guarantee that. All businesses are different, but that is an average. It's also in demand. You're going to be highly marketable and highly skilled. Tracy talked about a few of the certificates that you'll be able to earn in addition to the associate degree. That will make you extremely marketable. So Ohio FAME, here are the companies that are part of the Ohio FAME process. Maybe some of them you've heard of: Cooper Tire, Ball Metal, Nissen Brake. Some of them you may not have heard so much about. Romark, it's a smaller company, fabricator, Simona PMC. But these companies are all committed and have agreed to sponsor students at their facilities for this Ohio Fame program. And as Tracy mentioned before, your work schedule would be, your work school schedule would be 3 days a week at the company and 2 days at Owens in your labs and classes. And I always try to tell students when I talk to them, when they're applying for this program, those 2 days at Owens, they're long days. I'm not going to fool you on that. You'll be here from 7:30 in the morning until possibly 6 o'clock at night. However, as Tracy also mentioned in the curriculum, you're not just sitting listening to a lecture that whole time. You're up, you're moving. You may be in lecture for an hour and then you're on machines for a couple of hours. There's lunch breaks. So it's not as cumbersome as it seems, but it is a long day, and I like people to know that up front. Again, the minimum wage of $12 an hour, we have none of these current companies that are participating are paying the minimum. They are all paying above the minimum, and some of them well above the minimum. And then again, they will pay half of your tuition and fees. So do we have your interest yet? If we do, what we'd like you to do is apply. You can go to the Raise the Bar, it's called Raise the Bar Hancock County website, and you apply to the FAME program. You can also simply call Owens and apply to Owens and tell them, I'd like to get into the FAME program. So we have two applications actually. We have you apply to Owens, but we also have you fill out a FAME application. Doesn't matter which one is first, and if it's easier just to call and ask about the FAME program, we will definitely get you to that FAME application. Once those have been filled out, we need to make sure that you are college ready. So we look at your ACT scores, or we have you come in and take the AccuPlacer. Again, I can help coach you through how to look for helps for that. If you do need to come in and take the AccuPlacer, that's not a problem. There are a lot of helps out there for you. Once all the applications are received for a cohort, then we go through the selection process. You will then interview, and generally it's a panel interview. This past spring, we did a few in person before COVID, and then we did a few through Zoom after COVID, and they worked out very, very well, where the companies, many times it was the mentors, interviewed in a panel format, and I go through all of that with you. You get the questions ahead of time, and then once all of the interviews are completed, the companies then sit down and they select who they believe is the best fit for their particular company. So here are some contacts. We've got my email, famesuccesscoach@owens.edu. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And as I mentioned, the Raise the Bar, hancock.org/Ohio Fame, that is where you would get the FAME application from. And then there's the Twitter account at Ohio Fame _FHC.